Corey, this man has taken WWE by storm.
You're absolutely right. And since WrestleMania, since this, quote, change in attitude from Shinsuke, some people have called it some sort of psychological downward spiral. I think it's been an emotional ascent, leading Nakamura straight to the top.
Well, that ascent has made Nakamura one of the most dangerous superstars in all of WWE, simply because...
Fuck you, lady. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. You can't pick up a family.
Confusing, charismatic, and...
Right, we're going to experiment here. I'm experimenting with the sound. It should be working here. It wasn't working at the start. Now it finally is. Hello. Welcome to my predictions video of the Royal Rumble. I'm just going to edit some sound options here because the commentary is rather loud. So that's something I'm looking to see if I can somehow turn off. But whilst I'm doing that, yeah, here we are, my first Royal Rumble prediction video, my first WWE prediction video. I've been hoping to do a lot more of these, but I've been a bit busy recently and I've had quite a few issues regarding the console as well. So we've got quite a few issues there. But nevertheless, here we are. You know, here we are. Yeah, and the match that we're about to schedule is one of the first in the pre-show. So before we get started, I would just like to say, this Royal Rumble on Sunday has the serious potential to be one of the best Royal Rumbles we have ever seen, but they have to pull it off. With the ratings that haven't been lower than they have been in so long, if not ever, I think it was, recently, what better way to bounce back than with this pay-per-view? It could have been any pay-per-view that the whole issues were building up towards, but nope, it had to be the Royal Rumble, arguably the most popular pay-per-view in WWE behind WrestleMania. In my opinion, before I got into WWE, I preferred the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania, because I couldn't appreciate the significance of Mania, but nevertheless, just the 30-man Royal Rumble is without a doubt one of the greatest wrestling creations of all time. Certainly one of the best stipulations ever thought of. So, we got the very disappointing news this morning that John Cena's injury may have been faked, but it was done so in order to fit into the story. So this wasn't a matter of faking his injury so he'll have a bigger pop at the Rumble. This was an injury to give him an excuse to not be in the Rumble. So I could still be proven wrong, but from what really tight sources, other YouTube predictions, online reports have suggested, John Cena will not be in the Royal Rumble. And that's hard and fast, supposedly. There's nothing we can do about that. Cena was already booked to film a movie up in Canada, and supposedly there has been a scheduling conflict. Whether they'll let him down to WWE for a few hours just so he can compete in the Rumble is why I'm not saying this is a 100% fact, because it's John Cena. I think if anyone would be allowed leeway to go do something with WWE apart from The Rock, it would be John Cena. So keep your eyes open. I haven't got him in my prediction today, but part of me is hoping John Cena will be there, because even if he doesn't win, of course he's not going to win, and I wouldn't be happy about it if he won, but his ability to put over other superstars is second to none right now. Brock doesn't do it. AJ Styles hasn't really had the opportunity. He's been fighting against mainly people who haven't had WWE's titles, and the only two men he had a chance to put over, Shinsuke Nakamura and Samoa Joe, he didn't. I don't think that's down to him, though. I think that's more Vince was looking for a long-term champion, because we haven't really had one full-time since CM Punk, not including Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar may be my favourite wrestler, but by God, has my respect for him taken such a huge hit. Obviously, he wouldn't care. That's one of the reasons I love him. But even as his fan, you know, you kind of want him to show up. You want him to suplex people. You want him to do something other than fucking suplexes. Brock Lesnar is one of the most gifted athletes in the WWE, always has been, and he's got a limited moveset. And you know, you look at how much power he's got, and everyone says Brock Lesnar's dangerous, but Brock Lesnar has injured far less people than the likes of Nia Jax or a sloppy giant like the likes of Braun Strowman, who I'm led to believe is responsible for Kevin Owens' injuries. But that's, after the matches they had, that's probably just as much Kevin's fault as it was Braun's. So anyway, we're going to talk about this Royal Rumble. Went on a tangent. You can see how much I've been holding back, because I've so wanted to talk about wrestling on this channel for so long, and now we're finally going to do it. But before I start this current match, well, actually no, we're just going to start it so we have something running. So we're going to have Rusev and Shinsuke here battling for the US title. But we're not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to talk about the first match of the Royal Rumble, which is, of course, the Fatal 4-Way for the Cruiserweight Championship. Could be the most exciting match the Cruiserweight Championship has had since we watched Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander at WWE Crown Jewel. Yes, that's Crown Jewel, not WWE World Cup, Mr. Braun Strowman. Nevertheless, Fatal 4-Way, Buddy Murphy versus Kalisto versus Akira Tozawa versus Hideo Itami. Now, I remember years ago when Hideo Itami originally signed with the WWE in the NXT project, and people went nuts in a good way. People were so hyped for Hideo Itami. Hideo Itami was the biggest thing at the time, supposedly a huge signing. But he's never really had a chance to shine. Recently, he finally beat Cedric Alexander, which in the 205 Live Cruiserweight division is kind of a big deal, because Cedric Alexander, definitely the man who got the Cruiserweight Championship to the prestige it's at the moment. No thanks to the poor mishandlings of Neville or the fact that Enzo Amore held the title. We'll gloss over that because we all remember Enzo and we all hope to forget Enzo. He was basically just a thug version of James Ellsworth. That's about it. But yeah, so Cruiserweight Championship's in a good place. Buddy Murphy is a seriously impressive competitor. And Rusev just smacked Shinsuke Nakamura with a chair in my game. Okay, I was kind of hoping they'd put on a better match than just Rusev retaining his title. Let's hope that doesn't happen in the Rumble. But yeah, just to go over it, I'm not going to say exactly what's going to happen because I'm not a genius when it comes to the Cruiserweight division. 205 Live, I know less about than I know about New Japan Wrestling and Ring of Honor. I really do not give much interest to 205 because is it wrong that even though the new modern wrestling style is the flips, is the high energy, the thing that made WWE so standout wasn't that it was just world-class athletes, that the fact that there were giants, that there were huge men, powerful men, even giant fat men with huge amounts of power, and then you meet them in person and they're Hulk over you. I mean, the rate WWE are talking about their talent, you think the likes of Braun Strowman and Big Show wouldn't have a place in wrestling anymore, or people like them in the future, and you've got to think, well, then that's not WWE, because WWE has had Andre the Giant, the Gonzalez, the Giant guy, Undertaker, Kane, Great Khali, Strowman, Big Show, all giants, and a couple more, Kevin Nash. I'm sure there was someone else at the tip of my tongue. It was Big Cass. And it's amazing that a guy who's 7 foot tall like Big Cass just got discarded. Stuck with a guy with Enzo. When he broke clear of him, give him a match with Daniel Bryan. And this was a guy who was athletic. He wasn't a chubby big guy. He was an athletic big guy. And all of a sudden, there's no place for him in the WWE. It's like, big guys like this is the bread and butter of the WWE. I've also just decided I'm going to have some random Royal Rumble matches just on in the background. Whilst we talk things over. So, again, another tangent, and we still haven't actually predicted anything. I don't know anything about the Cruiserweight Championship as such, so I'm going to go with a Buddy Murphy retention, or I'm going to go with a Hideo Itami win. As I said, the guy's not really done much since his arrival.
The following contest is the Royal Rumble match. Now, the two superstars that drew...
Well, look who's starting this one, the guy who just got victimized by Rusev. Of course, because these are the lower card matches, these guys could technically be in the Rumble, but with the amount of talent they have... Oh, speaking of which, I hope this guy shows up at the Rumble as well. Right, anyway, we'll let Shinsuke and the Demon fight it out at the start of the Rumble. So, I believe Buddy Murphy will retain, or Hideo Itami will finally win his first WWE title in the main roster. I think it would be well deserved for him. It'd be good for Japanese fans as well, because as we probably know, Shinsuke is not going to win against Rusev, which brings me to the next prediction of the tragic match that we put on before this one, where Rusev just came out with a chair and smacked when he just came out and smacked Shinsuke with a chair. It is a crime that Rusev versus Shinsuke Nakamura is on the kickoff show, and honestly, this could be the match that leads to Nakamura departing. He's already talked about potentially leaving, missing Japan, going where the money is good, and right now AEW apparently are offering money just as good as WWE. In fact, Chris Jericho said that the deal he signed with AEW is the most lucrative contract he's ever had in his career. And this guy was the face who ran the place. Well, here's a guy from the WWE 2K19 My Player game, Cole Quinn. Starts off as a bit of a dick, but trust me, you grow to like Cole, so go Cole. So, the match that could make Shinsuke Nakamura leave is indeed this match against Rusev. Rusev's got all the momentum, he is the champion, and I don't think they'll do the same as what they did to Dean Ambrose and make it a short-lived title. They could turn this into a feud, which is what I would hope to see. So my heart is saying I want Shinsuke Nakamura to win the United States Championship. Now, why would I want Shinsuke Nakamura to win the United States Championship? It boils down to this. Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura are two desperately underrated superstars. Yes, Rusev had that amazing US title reign. He's now enjoying his second. But he hasn't done anything else. That's it. And former NXT champion Nakamura many failed attempts at the WWE title, finally got the US title and lost it to a mid-card, and whilst becoming a mid-card. So, with Rusev now with his second United States title reign, it would be quite good if Nakamura would pick up his second US title win and have him and Rusev maybe drop and have a long-standing rivalry, a little bit like what Miz had with Dolph Ziggler over the Intercontinental title. And it means they could both get a couple more reigns under their belt, and who knows, come WrestleMania, the US title could be the match decided in the ladder match. I mean, we've seen it with the tag team titles when the Hardys came back. And we've seen it with the Intercontinental title once or twice. Daniel Bryan's won it, Zack Ryder's won it. So I think United States title makes sense. I mean, think about who you could throw in that match. You could throw in Jeff Hardy for the ladders. You could throw in Nakamura. You could throw in Samoa Joe. You can throw in Rusev. If there's any decent call-up sticking with SmackDown, send them in the match. You know, hell, from this point, maybe put him in the match for the US title. Who knows? But I think Nakamura winning the US title could be really healthy for that championship. It's just rejuvenated the Intercontinental title, but that's also why I think it's unlikely. Because they've just done it with the Intercontinental title, would they really want to copy Raw? I mean, right now, they've already done it a few times in my opinion. When we seen McIntyre and Ziggler team up with Strowman, about 2 weeks later, Big Show was teaming up with The Bar on SmackDown. And it's like, come on, we need a little bit of originality here. I get you're both WWE, but you're different shows, different rosters. Let's think of something slightly different, shall we? So yeah, I think for that reason, from a creative standpoint, I think Rusev will hold the title, and probably will hold the title for quite a few months, probably until WrestleMania. But me personally, I want to see the ladder match, so I want Shinsuke Nakamura to win another United States Championship. And then he be the one to hold it into WrestleMania, and then he can be content that he may not have headlined or main evented WrestleMania, but he had a big main card, big mid-card WrestleMania match where he was the champion. He was the champion will be a crucial point to that. Maybe he'll walk out with it, but usually when you put 8 men in a ladder match, that's usually because you don't want someone to retain their title. So far we've covered 2 title changes. Well, 1 title change, 2 hopeful title changes. I hope Itami and Nakamura win it for Japan. Could be a big night for Japan because we've also got the Asuka match later on. But yeah, so far, yay for Japan in my heart. But reality, I'm still going with Itami, but I'm going for Rusev to beat Nakamura. But please know in my heart, I am indeed rooting for the King of Strong Style, and Nakamura needs a better chance. Next match is going to be quite an interesting one. The Bar, who I've recently just mentioned, against The Miz and Shane McMahon, quote-unquote, co-besties, or the best in the world. Right, this tag team, in my opinion, is an abomination. I think the story was hilarious. I get why the crowd likes it, but in the grand scheme of things, it's such a bad time to make another tag team. I mean, seriously, they come out, right? A couple of weeks ago, they come out saying they're going to change everything for the fans. Okay? We're in control. Gallows and Anderson comes out. Guys who have been sidelined, not with injury, they've just been sidelined, out of action since August. They come back for 1 week, disappear again, and all of a sudden, Miz is trying to be a face. I'm sorry, try to argue with me on this, but The Miz is the best heel in the WWE. His promos, amongst the best, if not the best. The current heel, Daniel Bryan, I think he would get minced in a war of words with The Miz. And I've got an interesting story about that. I'm just going to go off topic a little bit here, apart from the abomination, which is The Miz and Shane McMahon. A while ago, Miz talked to Daniel Bryan and said, basically, you understand now, you get it. Cheaters are the champions, you understand it, right? So you get it. Well, Miz gets jealous because Daniel's doing his thing. Miz eventually turns heel on Shane, beats the hell out of Shane, and then takes on Daniel Bryan for the WWE title at WrestleMania. One of many ideas I have, but I have seen a clear route for that to be a potential, so I am saying it. But I do not think it will happen. What I think is going to happen tomorrow at the Royal Rumble is that the Bar are going to lose to Miz and McMahon, and I can't believe I'm saying that. But if they really want to make this whole Miz and McMahon thing worth it, and they really don't want to send Miz to Raw, and they really don't want to put him in the US Championship title or the WWE title, maybe the tag team titles is where he should go, because Miz deserves gold. To make his character more, to generate more heat from his version of a heel character, he needs a title. If he's just a guy speaking, then that's what he is. The crowd will just tune off. That's why the crowd have respected but hated Miz for so long, because he's always there. He's got the second most amount of Intercontinental title reigns in history. I think it's 7 or 8, and you've got Chris Jericho who had 9. You know, he's got serious history behind him, Miz. He's got tag team titles, he's the former WWE champion, all those Intercontinental champions, he's the former US champion, Miz, former Money in the Bank winner. Miz is one of the best heels. Yeah, so in my opinion, in order for this story to be worth it, Miz and McMahon need to beat the Bar, and then they need to retain against whoever's next, and then that's when one of them turn heel. If we do the whole Shane turning heel thing, it'll just get a bit boring, because it'll mean that him and his dad have both turned heel since announcing that they're taking over and ditching the general managers. And then, I mean, what could Shane do which would just generate heat? He would just become a general manager. Am I wrong? I mean, the stuff that he would be doing as a bad guy, just as the McMahon family, he would be acting as a general manager, making matches. It's what Vince McMahon's practically doing on Raw. He's become the general manager of Raw. Triple H and Steph, where the hell they at? What they doing? It's just the two McMahon boys, and I'm sorry, Shane is a much better promoter than he is a wrestler. So if we can bring back general managers, that would be great. If WWE Universe taking control has proved us anything, it's that we respect the McMahon family, but we don't want to hear the McMahon family. We just want them to get on with it. And if they think they're not going to be able to get on with it unless they have to come out and flap their gums, then we might as well let them. But in my opinion, yeah, Shane going bad isn't going to do anything. It would have to be Miz. Miz would have to be the one to turn heel on McMahon. But then we're bordering on the copying Raw creatively again with Rollins and Ambrose. Fair, it's different, but it would still be splitting up a tag team because of betrayal. And that tied in with, as I said, Big Show joining certain guys. The Bar. Yeah, it's too much. It's too much to have in common. So, yeah. And again, in an ideal... I'm going to answer this like Rusev. In an ideal world, the Bar are probably going to win. But you've got to say, yeah, just to make this whole pointless, tedious story about the best in the world being Shane or McMahon. It doesn't even matter if Miz... If we had that whole injury story with Miz... I'm sorry, Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for best in the world? No. Miz shouldn't even be in that equation. Miz is brilliant. But for a best in the world tournament, Dolph definitely deserved to be there. But here's the thing. Isn't the best in the world Brock Lesnar? Because he's the one who's earned the right to hide. You know, he's earned the right to not be there. He gets put over in so many matches he's booked in, because you look at him and you see what he does in the ring and you just think, even a guy 7 foot tall who used to be, you know, a powerlifting prodigy couldn't beat him. You see, and funnily enough, that's the man that just got eliminated from this Rumble in the game. So yeah, I'm sorry, Brock Lesnar is the best in the world, and if you've got a problem with that, let me know down in the comments, but no one else acts like him because no one else has earned the right to act like he does. That's the way I see it. Brock used to come every day, he used to do all that, now he doesn't. And also, you look at the guys who have tried a UFC career here, with the exception of Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. I'm talking about the men's side of it. What other athlete in that roster, in the male side, has had the UFC success as Brock Lesnar, the NCAA success as Brock Lesnar? The answer is no one. And as I said, you know, you see all these wrestlers getting injured, and then you hear about a brutal fight with Brock Lesnar, but then the guy shows up the next day and he's ready to throw down. Brock has these incredibly hard hitting moves, but the fact that no one is walking out injured from his fights is a testimony to his control, his awareness, and his ability in the ring. Brock Lesnar is everything everyone in the WWE wants to be. He's powerful, he's quick. He might not have the vocal charisma, but he's got Heyman for that, and it just works. They're trying it with Lashley and Rush, but here's the thing. Heyman's funny. Heyman is irritating by all means. That's how he gets under your skin. But he's also funny when he heckles with someone, when he's trying to put someone down. Lio Rush is just a little hopped up, happy-go-lucky idiot, really. No one took him seriously as a wrestler, and it's very hard to take him seriously even as a manager. Congratulations. I'd rather have I'd rather see Paul Heyman begging on his knees going, I'm just an advocate, than see Lio Rush jump around trying to do tricks as if he deserves the attention. Nah, mate, you've become someone's manager because no one liked you as a wrestler, no one found you compelling as a wrestler, and clearly the WWE didn't think much of you as a wrestler. They even made Lana a wrestler, and they're trying to get you away from it. What does that tell you? So yeah, have that, managers. On a side note. So, we're going to get now to our fourth prediction. This is when it starts to heat up, because now the next 4 matches are very good, with promise, and then of course we're going to throw in the 2 Rumbles, which I'm going to do now because actually no, I'm not. I'm going to do this the way I think it's going to happen. Now, I think the SmackDown's Women's Championship match is going to happen before the Rumble, but I think the Raw Women's Championship match is going to happen after the Rumble, because there's no confirmation that Sasha Banks will be in the Rumble. There's no demand for Sasha Banks to be in the Rumble. She'll be there. She'll be against Rousey. The less headlining match, though, is Asuka versus Becky, because, I'm sorry, yes, Becky's the hottest thing, but if you ask a general fan, people know who Ronda Rousey is over Asuka and Becky Lynch. And Asuka and Becky have won a couple of titles, yeah, but Sasha is a 4 times Raw Women's Champion. So when you actually talk about credentials, this could actually be Ronda Rousey's most challenging match. She's had to deal with bigger opponents, she's had to deal with veterans in Natalya, but Sasha Banks, 4-time champion, is someone that Ronda Rousey has not had to deal with yet. She had to deal with Little Miss Bliss, who was at a level of her own, fair enough, but Sasha has been Raw. You know, she hasn't been SmackDown on Raw, she was the man on Raw. Then Ronda Rousey came along, and then all of a sudden Rousey is on top of Raw, and this is probably why Sasha's not happy. But I'm sorry, Sasha, if a UFC person can come in not just with her... She could... At the end of the day, right, Ronda Rousey could have flopped. Ronda Rousey might have not been able to wrestle, she might have been completely talentless, hopeless, and injured everyone she touches. She hasn't done any of that. She's taken to it like a duck to water. She's been natural, she's been brilliant. And, to be honest, if I watched her in-ring performance, I would say Ronda Rousey was a more experienced wrestler than Sasha Banks. Not taking anything away from Sasha, I think she's great, but Ronda Rousey, my god. You think Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle were naturals? Ronda Rousey, now that's a natural. She will be remembered for how quickly she's taken to the WWE. And if it's really going to be a short term, so be it. But please, Ronda, stay around WWE, because that's you in our hearts already. You've armbarred your way into our hearts, and the Roddy Piper gimmick is just fantastic. We all love it. And the Piper's Pit, named after him, the finisher, brilliant. It's all a brilliant gimmick. So we're going to get to it. The match before the Women's Royal Rumble will be Asuka versus Becky. And to make my prediction come true, Asuka is going to win. But it could be from one of two reasons. Now this is when it gets interesting. WWE have a very, very big choice to make in this match, in my opinion. Do we continue to belittle the SmackDown Women's Champion in promotion of the Raw Women's Champion? The whole prove Raw is better, is that what it's all going to come down to? Or are they going to give the boost back to the SmackDown Women's Champion, and then we're going to have to find some new excuse to get Becky into the Rumble? Because that's what it's going to boil down to. Becky Lynch has to be in the Royal Rumble. When she got the title opportunity against Asuka, people weren't really happy about it, because people were already wanting Becky to be the one to win the Rumble, because that is the clearest path to even earn an opportunity against Ronda Rousey. Because if she doesn't win the Rumble, then how is Becky going to fight a Raw Women's Champion with the title being on the line? Is Ronda going to drop the belt to Sasha tonight, and is Ronda going to take on Becky with no titles? I don't see that happening. I only see Ronda Rousey being at WrestleMania as a champion, having a long reign which won't be beaten for a while. Yeah, that's how you make the most of Ronda Rousey's time. So in my opinion, she has to be champion going into WrestleMania if she is to face Becky Lynch or Charlotte or whoever. I say or whoever, but let's face it, it's going to be one of those two, if not both. So this is how we're going to play it off, okay? So the first way, which I can't offer an explanation for because I'm not sure how it would work, apart from Becky maybe beating someone up. That would probably be the outcome either way, actually. So let's go with that. We're going to say Becky's going to beat an entrant up and take her spot. We've seen it before, we'll see it again. It'd be nice to finally see it in the Women's Royal Rumble. And who would get a bigger pop than Becky Lynch doing that, attacking someone and walking into the Rumble. So this is, I think, would be the more prudent way for Asuka to genuinely beat Becky. Asuka had a huge winning streak in NXT. She won the Rumble on her, I think it was her WWE debut, was it not? The Royal Rumble appearance. And she won. She went to WrestleMania, and Charlotte beat her. And all of a sudden, her aura's gone. And that was the whole aura. No one is ready for Asuka. Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Carmella has been ready for Asuka since then. And if you're a dedicated fan and you actually watched the tragedy that was the Mixed Match Challenge, you would have seen Asuka tapped out to Flair again in the Mixed Match Challenge, not even a huge level. And they had Charlotte putting over, Asuka putting over Charlotte, which was completely unnecessary for someone who's never won the title. And Charlotte Flair, who's going to be protected by the company until the fucking day she dies. I think it's ridiculous. But either way, I want to see Asuka rejuvenated. I want to see her kick Becky's ass. Bring some respect back to the SmackDown Championship. That is the only best path, and this is where I'm going with it. Asuka kicks Becky's ass. Becky goes in a huff, and then when Charlotte wins the Rumble, or Becky wins the Rumble, they then take it from there. So, that's what I hope is going to happen. What could happen, and WWE likely to happen, Charlotte or Ronda Rousey is going to interfere with the Asuka-Becky match. And Asuka will win via that. Basically. So basically it's either going to be someone's going to come in, stir up some more drama, or they could actually protect the SmackDown Women's title whilst also promoting the Raw Women's title in the same night. They really don't have to belittle Asuka anymore. They can't afford to, because if they do, she'll leave. And I know for a fact that AEW would treat Asuka with respect, and New Japan would obviously happily take her back. So, Asuka will beat Becky. In my opinion, there is no way, there's no justifiable reason the fans would want Becky to beat Asuka. Because, as we said, we do the feud between Asuka and Becky for the title, or however we work it. Then what? Then the whole Ronda Rousey thing will just go under our noses, and when Ronda leaves to start a family after WrestleMania, we will never see Becky versus Ronda until she chooses to come back. No. People aren't going to wait the next 5 years to see a match. They're going to wait till WrestleMania to see the match. So, Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch, I'm sorry, with Charlotte or not, that has to be the match for the Raw Women's Championship. And it won't be the SmackDown Women's Championship, it has to be the Raw Women's Championship. Right, so Asuka is going to beat Becky Lynch, and then Becky Lynch will go in her huff and she will find a way into the Rumble, which is about to start. Because as I said, after the SmackDown Women's Championship, we're going to have the 30-woman Royal Rumble. So, Becky Lynch is going to find a way into the Rumble. Fans will not have had enough of her, even if she doesn't win. We want Becky in the Rumble. Becky belongs in the Rumble. She was originally going to be in the Rumble, so I don't see why we should have to change that. And I love who's left in the ring on my game. Elias, Kofi, Dean Ambrose, and who's that? Shane Thorne? It's the most outrageous Royal Rumble I think I've ever played. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Rumble listings that I have made for the Royal Rumble. This is when it gets interesting. I know about the people who are in it. So what I've done is I have composed 2 lists of the Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble and the Women's Royal Rumble. And I have gone for what order I believe they should enter in. These aren't dreams, these aren't like the ultimate which would make the crowd explode. I've tried to go with practicality versus storylines versus good moments. You know, I'm trying to base it as if I was actually watching the Royal Rumble myself. So I have done that. Yeah, and we get interesting as of now. It's amazing that we've got Kofi and Dean Ambrose left in the ring. They're going to beat each other up soon, and then we'll start another one for these predictions, or I might just get it done soon. So let's talk the Women's Royal Rumble. We want to start small and big at the same time. So here's a good one. Number 1 is Zelina Vega, and number 2 is Charlotte Flair. So her dad came in from the start and won. Why not her? So we'll have Charlotte at the start. Get the crowd interested already, because there's already a big name. And Zelina Vega, who has had opportunities to show off, but not many. I think it's a good opportunity to show us what she can really do if she takes on the Queen at the start of the match. Dean Ambrose is getting fucked by Kofi Kingston in my game right now. Imagine if Kofi won it for the New Day. Imagine if Ambrose won it as a heel. Oh, God. Yeah, anyway, so we got the number 2, the first 2. We got Zelina Vega, Charlotte Flair. And it looks like Ambrose will win the Rumble. So is that who's going to win the Rumble? No. Right, number 3 for the Women's Royal Rumble, I have got as Nikki Cross. We've seen her mental side a little bit on Raw, and since we started with 2 SmackDown women, I think we should start throwing in some Raw. So what better way to go than with Nikki Cross, who's just been promoted from NXT. After Nikki Cross, I have Ruby Riott, leader of the Riott Squad, so a bit of a weird combination already. Vega, Flair, Cross and Riott. At this point, I reckon Vega would probably be eliminated. So we have, Vega, Flair, Cross, and Wright. Number 5, I have Tamina entering in, Tamina Snuka. Never really drawn any real affection from the crowd, never drawn any legitimate heat. She gets heat from hanging around with Nia because no one likes Nia because she injures everyone. Which is a shame because she could be very talented, and I think her character is brilliant. She comes from a great wrestling family. What's the excuse, you know? After Tamina, though, we're going to get a little bit of a pop with Kelly coming back again. There's a couple of spots to fill. I went through the roster. Not all of them are going to get on for injuries or for popularity reasons or whatnot. And I struggled with this one. It was either Kelly and some other person I'm about to name, or it was going to be the Bella Twins. Just because they haven't done anything since Evolution, I think they came back as like that sort of spur of the moment thing. I'm going to say Kelly still. I don't think the Bellas will make an appearance. I think Brie is off doing her own thing at the moment, I'm led to believe, and Nikki... I don't think Nikki will like the fact that her stock dropped just because her relationship with John Cena ended. And I'm going to be a little bit cold and calculated here. I think she was afraid of that happening. Obviously, I'm not exactly a third wheel of the whole conversation, but from sources that I've been told are nonsense to sources I've been told that are potentially true, the narrowed down narrative from that relationship I got was that Nikki got cold feet before the a couple of weeks or a couple of months before the wedding, whenever it was due. John very much wasn't happy about this, thought that the woman he loved was having second thoughts, and very much like myself, I don't think I'd be able to handle that. So when Nikki came back and said, you know what, I actually want to do this, John said, the fact that you actually had to think about it makes me not want to do it. So from what I believe, Nikki got the jitters. She eventually came round, but John said, well, I didn't get jitters, so I guess only one of us is in this relationship, and it is over. Everyone's trying to pull it off as if the girl broke good old John Cena's heart, but I think it may have been the other way around. Definitely not important, but I was very interested to know, because it will affect the career of Nikki Bella. It's not going to affect the career of John Cena, is it? You know, he's still going to be John Cena, whereas Nikki Bella is a former Divas champion, and that's it. You know, that's really all she's got in her name. Congratulations, you've got a sister who looks just like you. You've got surgeries done to make yourselves look different. That worked, well done. And then you lost John Cena, and I don't condone you for that. Relationships end all the time. However, the manner it happened, you should have known what you were walking into, girl. So for that reason, you've lost your spot to Kelly, and your sister will lose a spot to someone who I will mention comes in at number 28. Yeah, that's right. So we're on to number 7, though, so you're going to have to wait a while for that next announcement. And number 7 is going to be the first half of the Iconics, Peyton Royce. Just performing the role of a jobber here. The Iconics have to be in the Rumble. They said they'll be in the Rumble, so there's the first one. Peyton Royce, number 7. Number 8, we're going to go for a bit of a pop now, because Peyton Royce probably would have got booed on entrance. So we're going with Kairi Sane this time. Former NXT Women's Champion. Very exciting wrestler. Everyone says to watch Kairi Sane, and she is brilliant. So Kairi Sane to enter number 8, just to spice things up. I reckon she'll last a good while. At this point, I expect Tamina, Zelina, and maybe Nikki to be eliminated. I think Flair will stick at it, and I think Ruby Riott might have a good job just like sitting in the corner. I think she could stick it out. She deserves a bit more screen time actually wrestling, does Ruby Riott. I'm going to put on another Royal Rumble in the background because I know it's getting a bit boring. Number 9, we have Sonya Deville, first half of former group Absolution. We've got to have her in there. She's already confirmed, so yeah, Sonya Deville at number 9. Second half of the Iconics, Billie Kay. Usually from experience, the WWE usually split up pairs quite a lot, unless you're the Hardy Boys. But I think to have Sonya Deville, Billie Kay only 4 spots after Peyton Royce makes a lot of sense. There's a chance for Royce to be eliminated. There's also a chance for them to team up in the ring, which would be interesting for the arrival of my fucking thing's interrupting me. It would get in the way of my number 11 entrant, who is Lita. I think Lita will come back again. She was brilliant at Evolution. She was brilliant in the first Royal Rumble. And, you know, the fact that she's come back for more than one thing proves... I love how we started a Women's Royal Rumble, actually. I wasn't expecting that to happen. That's never actually happened for me. I don't think I've had a Women's Royal Rumble. Oh, 30 man, anyway. Anyway, yeah, so Lita coming in number 11. Who doesn't want to see that? Number 12, we talk about pairs coming in not too long after each other. Number 12 will be Mandy Rose. So we've got both Iconics in the ring, and we've got both former members of Absolution. There could be a good scrap, which probably will end in the Iconics getting pumped by Deville and Rose. They want it, and that ties into the rumor that Mandy Rose is going to receive a big push. Putting her over the Iconics is a good start to prove that she is not just a pretty face, which at the moment the Iconics are nailing. And that's all they really have to their characters so far, that they're Australian, that they look good, that they hold hands, and that they're iconic. After Mandy Rose, we're going to have her fiercest rival of the year, Naomi, because Mandy Rose has been a bit of a naughty girl. And for Naomi to come in at number 13, sprint down the ring and drop kick her in the face would be very awesome. And very much deserved. Mandy Rose should actually be more upset than the fans who watch her with her current position she's been given, as should Alexa Bliss, recently over-sexualizing the WWE again. Mandy Rose trying to flirt with Jimmy Uso and make her cheat on his wife. And then, of course, we have someone walking in on Alexa Bliss while she doesn't have a top on. And then you can tell how uncomfortable she was, particularly Bliss, because the line she came up with was terrible. Like, she was standing within maybe 3 or 4 feet of the door. The guy knocks like 2 or 3 times. And then, don't you knock? It's like, how could you not have heard him? Clearly, you either forgot your line or you just don't know what's going on. Speak of the devil, hello Miss Bliss. Just entered the Rumble. After Naomi has kicked the over-sexualized Mandy Rose in the face, Liv Morgan is going to come out at number 14, second member of the Riot Squad. So I've already said that Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville have been brought in close to each other. The opposite will have to happen for the Riot Squad, just so there's a bit of, you know, variety. So I had Ruby Riott in at number 4, and then I have Liv Morgan in now at number 14. So the ring's starting to fill up a good bit. I reckon quite a few people would have been eliminated. I think Mandy and Sonya, the Iconics, as I said, Vega would be gone by now. Probably the unhinged Nikki Cross maybe threw herself over the top rope. Who knows? She's a bit nuts like that. But at this point, the only people that I really expect to still be in the ring by number 14 is Charlotte Flair, Ruby Riott, Kairi Sane and Lita. And there's Ruby Riott in at number 6, so 2 off my prediction. Well, Becky didn't last as long as we'd all hope. Dana Brooke will come in at number 15. She's a brilliant talent, seriously athletic girl. Don't know how good she is on a mic though. I'm not sure if I've ever heard her talk on a mic. It's always been Titus, with the whole Titus Worldwide thing. I'm glad she left that, but since she left that, she seems to have even less. So maybe some thinking needs to be done on Dana Brooke's part. Number 16 will be a pop. It will probably be the biggest pop that we'll have in the Rumble so far, and that's Trish Stratus will return to the ring. So Trish Stratus will come in, probably mince a few people, and then meet her match at some point along the way. But we've got to have Trish Stratus. We've got to throw in some names that no one's expecting. And so far, to have Kelly and Trish Stratus in the first 16 is a good balance whilst promoting the talent they currently have. Just for the record, in case you forget, I will be putting lists of my predictions in the comments, but just for the Royal Rumbles, not for the matches. You will have to watch the video, as you will have known already up to this point, to keep the results. But yeah, we're gonna upload the predictions for the Rumbles after. So I promise you, even if you forget what I'm saying, you will see the order. And as I said, I want to know your opinions. I want to know what people want to happen at the Rumble, because I love to know all the different opinions, apart from the fans who are just ludicrous or crass. You know, if you've checked up my profile and you've seen my greatness is often mistaken for fatness, if you understand English, that is a jokey term, basically meaning the fatter you are, the greater you are. And I had some WWE fan come up to me and give me abuse for having a fat-shaming comment on my profile. I told him to go fuck himself and told him to learn how to read before you accuse me of things that aren't really real. So if you're one of those people that think it's a fat-shaming comment, I assure you it's not. I am a fat ass. I have always been a fat ass. I am not having a go at anyone else who is fat, because who gives a fuck? I shouldn't need to say it, but apparently for some people I do. So let's just hope fans like that won't be commenting too much in the comments, although I have just given you ammunition. So after Trish Stratus, we're going to go on a bit of a downside now, a couple of mixed reactions until we get a good pop. So, we're going for Alicia Fox at number 17, Sarah Logan at number 18, and then Lacey Evans making her debut at number 19, which fans will be happy about. So after booing Alicia Fox and going fairly silent for Sarah Logan, because the crowd doesn't really know how to react to the Riot Squad or any of its members, Lacey Evans will come in, and it'll probably be a mix of hate and joy. The fans who are happy to see Lacey Evans, and all the people that doesn't even know she exists, well, they'll just stay silent, and that'll be most of the crowd at the Royal Rumble. Then at number 20 we're going to have Mickie James. Always nice to see Mickie. She's a legend, she's great, love Mickie James. And then here's the interesting one. If she doesn't get into the Rumble, I think number 21 to get a huge pop will be Michelle McCool, because she was awesome in the last Rumble. She's still got it. She's tall, she's powerful. Michelle McCool could be in number 21, but if my prediction is correct, at number 21 I would rather see Becky Lynch. And as I said, we're talking about getting a big pop from the crowd, so after Fox, Logan, Evans and James, Becky Lynch would be the perfect entrant to have 2/3 through the Royal Rumble. What a pick for number 21, and calling it now, my pick to win the Rumble is Becky fucking Lynch. After her, we're going to switch back to Raw, where we have Natalya coming in. She'll get a bit of a cheer, because she's a legend, member of the Hart family. Can't go wrong with that. 23, Ember Moon. I've been waiting to say Ember Moon. She's also one of my favourites at the moment. She's nuts, she's brilliant. The war goddess. She really brings that personality through, being into the fight rather than just fighting, because that's what she has to do. Because you look at some of them scream and you think, well, why are you fighting? You see Ember Moon, she screams at you. It's usually because she's about to kick you in the face, or she's about to give you an eclipse. So Ember Moon, love her, got to stick her in, not too late, but at a point where she could be big at the end of the match, because she deserves some sort of recognition. Number 24, this is where we have Lana, who is probably the least experienced member on the roster, but she has gotten better. She's pulled off quite a few good moves, actually, in her more recent fights, the last Rumble. She was good, kind of bitched around, and then did a couple of good things, but she's got a long way to go. So if I could think of something, I tell you what, if WWE don't end up using Lana, fuck it. Number 24, that's where we'll put Michelle McCool. So we'll put Michelle McCool or Lana in at number 24. How about that? So Becky stays anyway. Yeah, I'm going to change that on my notes here. So I'm going to have number 21 is indefinitely going to be Becky Lynch. And number 24 will be Lana or Michelle McCool, the wife of Undertaker. That must be a difficult job. After Michelle McCool or Lana, probably Lana, we're going to get another big pop from Bayley, the hug machine. She's going to come out at number 25 as we approach the final people entering the Royal Rumble. Then big bad Nia Jax is going to come in. And at this point, you look at who's in the ring. Lynch, Natalya, Moon, Lana or McCool, possibly Stratus, Lacey Evans. You've got enough women in there to deal with Nia Jax, but I don't think it'll happen right away. Then we're going to talk about surprises. I've already listed a few, but I had to come up with one more, and it's not Nikki Bella, as I've already said. I predict number 27 will be Melina. I think Melina has been destined for a return to the WWE. She's been doing great things in the Australian wrestling circuit. Bring Melina back. If she's still got the ability, we want to see it. So yes please, Melina back at number 27. Then at number 28, this is going to tie into if my predictions for tonight come true. We'll be doing a video on that in a little bit, I promise. Number 28 will be Shayna Baszler. I think the Queen of Spades is ready for her call-up. First multi-time women's NXT champion. One of the few people with the caliber and the attitude to make an impact in the women's division. She's a heel unlike any of the other heels they have. She's not just a bitch, you know, basically. She's not a bitch, she's a bully. And that's something that WWE don't have. Nia Jax is an ogre with an attitude problem. She's not a heel. And she's scrappy. Right? Baszler, right? UFC fighter, injures less people than Nia Jax. She could be put in a much better title shot than Nia Jax anytime soon on the roster. Seriously, if Baszler gets the call up to the Women's Royal Rumble, do not be surprised if Baszler ends up getting a title shot within the next year or two. That's how quickly I think she'll win a title, maybe sooner. It depends what happens. She might team up with one of her other 4 horsewomen, and they might win a women's tag team championship at some point. But seriously, Shayna Baszler entering the Rumble is key to a lot of success in the women's division next season, especially if Banks is going to leave. And Rousey, especially Rousey. Next up is number 29. We're getting so close to the number everyone knows. Number 29, the final one who has been officially confirmed that I haven't listed, Alexa Bliss. If there's one thing that Alexa Bliss will want to do, it's to steal the limelight. And everyone knows that Carmella, who's getting a little bit of a popularity buzz at the moment, coming in at number 30, best way to steal that is to come out at number 29. So Alexa Bliss in at number 29 also gives her a minimal window of time in the Rumble compared to others, so seeing as she's just back from injury, believe it or not, wasn't caused by Nia Jax. But either way, yeah, so Alexa Bliss coming in late at the Rumble makes perfect sense. I would put her in number 30, but we know that Carmella is number 30, so she will come in after Alexa Bliss, and at this point we will probably have a stare down between Flair, Lynch, Moon, Jax, Baszler, Bliss and Carmella. The ending of the Rumble for the women's one has the potential to be incredible, and as I have said, if she is in it, Becky Lynch will win. If somehow she's not in it, it's going to be Charlotte Flair. And either woman is going to be interesting to see, because we know Becky will go for Ronda, but Charlotte has just proved that she owns a division. It's now, yeah, it should be just as personal, but you just get the feeling that it's not, because the only reason Flair was in the title picture in the first place is because she's the one being pushed there, being given the opportunities. Becky is the one earning these opportunities, had to put her title up against Charlotte Flair in the ladder match, which she argued Flair hadn't have earned, and Flair was the one who got just as angry about losing her chance against Rousey. So immediately Becky has a much better story fitting to a rivalry with Ronda, if that is to happen. So we've went through the Women's Royal Rumble. That was quick, wasn't it? I'm sorry it's taken so long, but Royal Rumbles are really long. We're going to try and cut back on the men's one, however, I'm just as excited for that one, probably more so. The men's one was quite tricky, because there's very little speculation about people making returns. What I mean by that is... Hang on, we're just gonna change one quick thing here. Let's see.
The competition was holding their Bunkhouse Stampede pay-per-view. Coincidence? I think not. This might be it. Oh my! Brie Bella starting to falter some. Nothing she can't fire back from the normal wear and tear, Cole. That's all this is. When you compete in a Royal Rumble match, you have to expect some sort of punishment.
We are going to discuss singles matches now, and we're going to try and rocket through this because we've already been recording. We've already been recording for a significant amount of time. So the next match is probably going to be, unfortunately, the Raw Women's Championship. It's going to be Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks. Maybe they should mix it up though, rather than just having 3 women's matches in a row, but this is just me making a prediction, so they probably won't do it, but I hope they don't. Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks. I'm sorry, Banks isn't going to win. Ronda's going to win. The Boss, especially after her stunt against the Revival, when the Revival said that they would take their stuff somewhere else, and Banks said, sent the gift saying, "Take me with you." WWE aren't dumb when it comes to social media, so you better believe that the authorities have seen that, and if Banks wanted that, she will very quickly learn that Vince McMahon doesn't work like a normal boss. He won't give you the promotion that you think you deserve. He will replace you with someone newer, and he will take them to a level that you never got to. So Sasha is in quite a bit of danger now in her career. She's jeopardized it, a lot like the Revival, but you could argue the careers were already in jeopardy. The Revivals, that is, not for Banks. Banks and Bayley, for me, were set for the women's tag team division. But clearly Sasha thinks she might be better than that, even though Bayley's obviously happy. No big surprise though. Sasha's always carried herself with confidence, but the offer from AEW for women to be paid the same as men just sounds like something Sasha wouldn't pass up, ever. It just sounds like exactly the sort of thing she's been fighting for, not so much for the wrestling, but more just for the equality of wrestling. That's definitely more Banks' street than it is just the product. You know, Banks, there's a good bit of selfishness in there because she carries it in her character, because it's there. You know, she's not had an easy life, and famous words of Brock Lesnar that he learned from The Rock: you've got to be selfish. Certainly sometimes you've got to take opportunities with 2 hands, and yeah, Sasha's not going to be given that against Ronda because she's not got the pedigree. The Bank statement's a great submission move, but the more I look at it, the more I think Rousey can turn that into an armbar with very little stress. You know, when you think about how Sasha delivers it and how flexible Ronda is. You would just see bank statement, you know, doing her flip with the backstabber, putting Ronda into the bank statement. Ronda just continues rolling and separates her arms to create an armbar, and that will be it. So yeah, to conclude that one, Ronda Rousey is going to beat Sasha Banks. Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles. Very much like the problems I talked about with the US and Intercontinental title, do the WWE really want to make the WWE Championship holder Daniel Bryan's reign just as short as them, or similar length? Should Daniel Bryan be given a longer chance to embolden his character, or should this be Daniel Bryan comes away with the win and we don't see another title defense of the WWE Championship until the Elimination Chamber? Because all the rumours speculating the men's Royal Rumble has winners going on to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I've not heard a single rumour yet about a SmackDown superstar winning it. So you've got to assume that they've got separate plans for the WWE Championship. And personally, I think if they want tickets to sell at WrestleMania, turning Daniel Bryan heel, great for the story, but sadly is not good for Daniel Bryan's WrestleMania. So, here it comes. AJ Styles isn't going to beat Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble, but he will at the Elimination Chamber. I'm calling it right here, Elimination Chamber. It'll be Daniel Bryan's title on the line. Daniel Bryan will get eliminated fairly quickly. Maybe Mustafa Ali will get another surprise pin on him, but then AJ Styles will win the WWE Championship back, and he will be the one to then lose it at WrestleMania to whomever it may be. So Daniel Bryan is going to beat AJ Styles, and probably through some dirty means. It's probably going to be another low kick. Because, again, you just don't believe Daniel could beat AJ, and that's why he couldn't until he cheated. You know, that's very much the message that has been sent about Daniel Bryan's character, is that if he doesn't cheat, he can't win. So they've reduced his stock in a way. By making him heel, it's given him a chance to expand and let someone else be a babyface, especially after the catastrophe of WrestleMania, which cost Batista his return. Gotta say, disappointed in you all, WWE fans. The rise of Daniel Bryan should not have happened. I don't look back at that as a great moment of history. I really don't. I see that as a moment where we've really lost the plot. I agreed with Batista. You know, Daniel Bryan, yeah, sure, he's talented enough to headline WrestleMania. Maybe the next year it might have been appropriate, but for that moment, in that storyline, Daniel Bryan didn't fit. It just didn't work. So Daniel Bryan, I think he should be in WrestleMania. I think he should have a great match at WrestleMania. Maybe he could be a part of that ladder match for the US title. Sorry, AJ Styles deserves to be champion into WrestleMania. If he's going to be leaving soon as well, then he's got to cram in as much success, as much title range in as possible to make sure he solidifies his legacy in what little time he ended up spending here and how long it took him to get to the top. The tedious match with Shane McMahon, I mean, what the hell was that about? You know? AJ deserves another title shot, but it's a title reign, but I do not think it's going to happen yet. I think Daniel Bryan is going to walk away with the title, smug, and probably labeled a cheat. Universal Championship. Obvious prediction, Brock Lesnar is going to win. But here's the thing, Finn Balor has come out and he has said he's not going to use the Demon. Why would he say that? Why would he come out and say he's not going to use the Demon, he's going to use Finn Balor the man? This is the perfect opportunity to use the Demon. The Demon would arguably be a huge reason for Balor to even beat Brock. And that's what the fans want. The fans don't want to see Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. They want to see Finn Balor beat Brock Lesnar. because no one doesn't want Lesnar to just show up when he feels like it. I get it. It adds to the aura of the Beast. But people are sick of the Beast. The Beast is now the new Undertaker, in my opinion. Set him up for a match at Mania every year. People will pay to see it. But by fucking God, no one wants Lesnar to be Universal Champion anymore. If he's not stripped of it, then he should lose it. And tonight, with the story still fresh, it can happen. Braun Strowman was removed from the title picture, and he wants Finn Balor to beat Brock. And he's already said, he's already voiced his concerns. He said, "I'm not sure if you can." Right? So here's my theory. Braun Strowman is going to come out and flatten Brock Lesnar. So here's the basic prediction for Lesnar Finn Balor is that Lesnar will win. But if this happens, this is what will help Finn Balor win. This is how Finn Balor could win. If Braun Strowman got involved after the referee was knocked down for some reason, could be anything. It could be Paul Heyman on the ropes making a fuss. Finn Balor comes over to deal with him. Brock tries to stop him. Brock runs into the referee as Finn Balor ducks. Strowman comes out. 2 or 3 of those huge power slams to Brock Lesnar. Coup de grace. That could do it. That could do it. That outcome could make Finn Balor the champ. Will they go with it? Probably not. But seeing as there has been no confirmation that Strowman is in the Rumble, and might I add in my prediction Strowman isn't in the Rumble, he will come out and he will do this. He will cost Brock Lesnar the title. Right? And then Lesnar wants one more WrestleMania fight before he goes to UFC again. Give him it against Brock, but Braun. But Braun wins. Because Braun has had so many losses now. The aura of the oh wow, Baszler just won the Rumble. Well, I definitely don't see that happening. But yeah, so it could happen, but Strowman would have to get involved, especially if the Demon isn't involved. If the Demon isn't involved, Strowman would have to be the reason that Lesnar lost the title, because Balor couldn't beat Lesnar. There's a £100 difference between the two, and Lesnar's he's no lumbering mess. You know, he is still a fast, agile athlete at nearly £300. That's why he's a freak. That's why he's the Beast.
Here is your winner, Shayna Baszler.
What an amazing finish to what may have been one
So
of the
Shayna
most
Baszler won
exciting
this
Royal Rumble
game,
matches I've seen.
but unfortunately, I still think it's going to be Becky in real life. So just to recap on the predictions so far, we have Hideo Itami or Buddy Murphy holding the Cruiserweight Championship at the end of the night. Rusev will retain against Shinsuke, but I believe if they want to keep it alive, Shinsuke's got to win it. The Bar versus Miz versus Shane, again, in my heart, Bar's got to win. But if they want the story to work, Miz and Shane have to win. So I'm going with Miz and Shane. So Miz and Shane, Rusev, and we're going to go with Itami for the Cruiserweight so far. Women's Championship has to be Asuka. Raw Women's Championship has to be Ronda Rousey. WWE Championship could be Styles, but it's probably going to be Daniel Bryan. And it should be Brock Lesnar, but it could be Finn Balor for the Universal Championship. And how special would that make the Universal Championship up to WrestleMania? It would make it a big deal again. That it could take the main event again and actually be worth it. It would be fantastic, fantastic rejuvenation for a title that really, really deserves credit. We're going to start a 20-man Royal Rumble here. Yeah, we're just going to play this and then go over my final prediction and the most important, the Men's Royal Rumble. And I'm not saying that because I'm sexist, I'm saying that because it's the one I am the most excited about. There are superstars in the Women's Rumble, but by God, from what was confirmed, even the confirmed alone for the Men's Royal Rumble is exciting. So, let's get interesting, and we're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. Is the women's one again? Yeah, it is. Okay, we got a women's one again. So we're going to talk men's, right? And I believe the Royal Rumble is going to start with the B minor chord. That is Elias.
And from Chemung, New Jersey, Sonya Deville.
So yeah, Elias is going to start the Royal Rumble. And then it's going to prompt the long-awaited return of Bray Wyatt. Someone cuts out Elias' spotlight, and then Bray Wyatt's music cues. Guarantee people would go nuts. Elias versus Bray Wyatt. That would be a great way to start the Rumble. You heard it here first. Wyatt will return. And speaking of returns, who better to return after Bray Wyatt than his broken compare, Matt Hardy. Oh yes, Matt Hardy in at number 3 after Bray Wyatt and double teaming Elias. Oh yes. But not to eliminate him. I believe that this will continue until other entrants come in. So Elias will hold on. Bray and Matt will have too long of a standoff for them to be enough time to beat the holy hell out of Elias. Coincidentally, number 4. Number 4, I predict to be Otis Dozovich of Heavy Machinery. I love Heavy Machinery already. Their match that they had, and just the fact that Otis is so crazy, the noises he makes are so funny. There's serious potential in Heavy Machinery. And at number 4, we get a chance to see at least 10 minutes of that. Otis Dozovich will come in at number 4. So who will I have come in at number 5? Well, I can already tell you that this man is in the top 1%. And that man is, hang on a second, we've got some... Oh hi, I just noticed your comments. You think Finn Balor will win the Royal Rumble? It's a potential, I'll give you that, man. It's definitely a potential. I mean, if Becky can enter the Women's Royal Rumble after losing to Asuka, then there's no reason why Finn Balor can't come out after losing to Brock Lesnar. So yeah, that's definitely a possibility, and a good shout for sure. But I had the guy in the top 1%, EC3, come in at number 5, and just to clarify, I will also have Tucker Knight, the second member of Heavy Machinery, in at number 6. What timing for that? So we've got Heavy Machinery, Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy, Elias and EC3. Not sure who's going to be eliminated at this point. You could probably play out in your heads. I'm just going to give you the men who are coming out. We're going to pace on ahead now because we don't want to go too slowly. I have Randy Orton coming in at number 7. Orton's got to make an appearance. He proved that by RKOing Samoa Joe at the end of SmackDown, so we know Orton will be there. Definitely doesn't deserve to win it this time. Definitely shouldn't win it this time. So putting him near the start at number 7 would be a good move, particularly with good athletes already in the ring, and with his past with Bray Wyatt, it could be interesting. Could be interesting. Now we've got to get to a filler here with Apollo Crews, someone who is confirmed. So nothing we can do about that, I'm afraid. Apollo Crews is in the Royal Rumble. He's got to get a lot more charisma. He's definitely learning of Bobby Lashley, that whole posing thing. Yeah, that's doing him the world of good. So we got Apollo Crews in at number 8. Number 9, I think this is number 8 on the game, yeah. But on number 9 for this, we are going to have the Velveteen Dream. Velveteen Dream has to make an appearance at the Rumble. He's not going to be on NXT tonight. It has to be Velveteen Dream. He's got to be one of the guys who makes an appearance. And if you think Edge will be entrant number 28, then that's wishful thinking. I wish Edge was in the Rumble too, my man. Really do. But I really don't think Edge will be there. Velveteen Dream in at number 9. People have been waiting for it. Supposedly he is the man to replace Lars Sullivan as John Cena's opponent for WrestleMania. Could happen, could happen. I think that's a damn shame for Sullivan though, because he is definitely a freak and someone we definitely want to see on our screens. Number 10 is probably the only legend returning that I have on my list. I've got a lot of people returning from injury. As I've already said, Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt. But I believe number 10 is going to be the only wild card that no one sees coming. And it's someone who is still in good shape, who could take a hit. And that man is Diamond Dallas Page, DDP. I believe he will come in at entrant number 10. I know it's number 10. People will want Ty Dillinger, but I really believe WWE have killed him now. I think you mentioned Ty Dillinger, no one really bats an eyelid. It's a shame. He's a monster talent. He's reliable. You've heard it from all over the independent scene, but I really think Ty Dillinger is just not going to make an appearance. So number 10, DDP. It's got to be DDP. And also reading your comment, very, very, very ambitious comment there. CM Punk entering at number 30. Wow, oh God. You have no idea. You have no idea how much I wish that would happen. That R-Truth forgets to show up and CM Punk comes in at 30. Oh, that would be amazing. But I just don't see it happening. And to be honest, if a company had sacked me on my wedding day, I probably wouldn't go back to them either. So after number 10 with Diamond Dallas Page, we've got number 11, who will be Seth frickin' Rollins. Definitely the guy everyone's talking the most about when it comes to the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins will enter in at 11 with quite a few people that he's familiar with in the ring, so he could perform some good stuff. Then at number 12, shit's going to hit the fan. Ambrose is going to come straight out. So Ambrose coming out straight after Seth Rollins would be a perfect move for the match, for the rivalry. It's clearly not going to end just yet. They'll probably have it end in a singles match in mid-card in the next pay-per-view. But yeah, Rollins and Ambrose, they've got to come out close to each other, haven't they? They've got to. Number 13, this one doesn't interest me at all. Jinder Mahal. He's been confirmed, so we've got to put him in there. And with an intense rivalry like Rollins and Ambrose, we're going to have to cue it back until we get the next pop. So Jinder Mahal is a good way to make the audience start booing. Then we're going to talk about people who get a cheer, who don't, blow the roof off the place at the moment. It would be the New Day. So at number 14 I have Big E, and at number 15 I have Kofi Kingston. So those two will enter after Jinder Mahal. And I'm not quite sure what the eliminations are going to be at this point. Hopefully Heavy Machinery are still in it, so we can see a standoff between Heavy Machinery and indeed New Day. That would be quite a clash. Big E and say Kofi Kingston versus Tucker Knight and Otis Dozovic. That could be a very good match. Number 16 is Woo Woo Woo, the man who has made his way back onto screens at long last. Former Intercontinental Champion and former Internet Champion, whatever the hell that is, Zack Ryder. Ryder was definitely one of the bigger names being linked to the move to AEW, but the fact that they recently reunited him with Curt Hawkins probably proves that because Ryder has shown commitment to the WWE and Hawkins, despite his losing streak over the Revival, who have been kicking up a fuss, I think this could be the moment where WWE have said, fine, Revival, go. Because we've just brought back Ryder and Curt Hawkins. Don't think Curt Hawkins will be in the Rumble, but I think Zack Ryder will be, and I believe Zack Ryder and Curt Hawkins could be in with a title shot for a tag team very, very soon. So watch out for that. It would be a bizarre thing to happen, but I think it could. Number 17, we're going to have one of the most impressive SmackDown performers of the last day. We only call him Andrade now instead of Andrade Cien Almas, because apparently we're too stupid to remember his full name. Andrade Cien Almas entering in at number 17, good solid number. no one's predicting this guy to win the Rumble. He's not in a position where people would want him to win the Rumble. So, good solid 17 for Andrade. Number 18 really kills the mood with Titus World Slide, the guy who slid under the ring at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and the guy who I think he's what, 6'7", nearly 300 pounds, and he's never won a title. I mean, what the hell is that? I mean, congratulations, you were Dad of the Year. You kiss your kids on the lips. You slide under the ring when you don't mean to, but you don't win titles. What is Titus O'Neil still doing in WWE apart from his background work? That is literally the only reason he's in the WWE, and the fact he's got a good body. There you go. That's why Titus O'Neil's in WWE, and they confirmed him for the Royal Rumble and robbed CM Punk of his spot. So there you go. The reason CM Punk is in the Rumble is because of Titus O'Neil. Gotta blame Titus. Then we've got to make things a bit more exciting. Things are about to get exciting, believe me. The last 10 I've got really blow the shit out of the water here. And we're going to start with number 19, Rey Mysterio. Coming in just after Andrade. The matches they've had have been brilliant. Imagine Rey Mysterio and Andrade in the Royal Rumble with everyone else around them. Oh, the chaos could be fantastically choreographed. It could be such a good moment in the Rumble. Just to have so much talent in the ring. Andrade, Mysterio, the New Day, Ryder, Rollins and Ambrose will probably still be in there. Orton, you know, you've got crazy talent in there, and it'll be awesome. And there's still 10 people to go. Full disclosure, none of these next 10 are any golden oldies. These are all people who deserve to be in the match, and this is why the end of the Rumble will be the best. Number 20 will be Samoa Joe. So just after Rey Mysterio coming in, making things light and everything looking awesome, we need someone to come in, disrupt the flow, and make everything feel like it's chaos and people are being eliminated left, right and center. The only person that has made that statement is Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe's going to come in at number 20 and he's going to start cleaning house in his time. Just before things get a little bit more tricky for the Samoan. And that starts at number 21, Baron Corbin. No one likes Baron Corbin. I don't like Baron Corbin. But he's been confirmed for the Rumble, so Baron Corbin it is. And if Samoa Joe's really going to kick everyone's ass, I think everyone wants to watch Samoa Joe choke out Corbin. The only way Corbin would get a cheer out of me right now is if at the Royal Rumble he showed up in his lone wolf gear. If he ditched the whole suit shit, because it doesn't suit him. Baron Corbin needs to be the lone wolf. That's what suits him. That's the only way people would actually like him. But now that you've got a business guy who talks like he does, biggest heel in the company, but not a heel that people want to see, a heel that people want fired. So Corbin's got to change some stuff up, and I think the lone wolf gear could be the first step to helping him stay wanted in the WWE. Doesn't have to be liked, but if he wants to be wanted, he's got to be the lone wolf. That's what got him here, that's what will keep him here. Did I say that was 22? I meant 21. Number 22 will be Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, Intercontinental title holder. No idea how that happened. But Bobby Lashley will come in at number 22 and will, lock eyes with Samoa Joe, and that will be a good fight. Bobby Lashley, Samoa Joe. Oof, that's going to be something. So say if Joe gets the upper hand of Lashley, who's going to come out that has had personal history with Joe in recent weeks? There's only really one man with personal history apart from Mustafa Ali, and that man is my number 23 pick, Jeff Hardy. I think the second Hardy boy is going to come out and will eliminate Samoa Joe, building up a potential rivalry or just a match at the next pay-per-view between Jeff Hardy and Samoa Joe. Because there was talk for a while, and let's face it, these two have fought before, they could put on a good match. Number 24 is going to be Xavier Woods, finally the last member of the New Day, and arguably out of the three, the biggest jobber out of the three. You know, at least Big E and Kofi have won singles titles. Xavier has always been under the radar when it comes to the WWE. And yes, to read your comment, I could imagine CM Punk coming back. I'd be very happy if CM Punk came back. But I do not see Tyler X coming from Falling Star Wrestling. I don't see any indie workers coming into the Royal Rumble whatsoever. I think unless you're Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks, which we know that's not, the Young Bucks certainly aren't going to happen. But I think if you're on the indie scene right now, unless you're Kenny Omega, there is no way you would get into the roster for the WWE. It will be NXT. If any more independent circuit wrestlers are going to be hired, they're all going to be NXT. So the chances of seeing someone from the independent circuit in the Rumble, to me, is non-existent. It would be cool, absolutely. It's what the crowd would want, but WWE might have said they're going to give us what they want, but they're not. They're going to roughly do it and then hope we ignore the difference. So Jobber Woods is going to get eliminated fairly soon to make way for entrant number 25, Mustafa Ali. He's going to probably breathe a bit of life because by then Andrade and Rey will be slowing down a bit. So to inject some pace back into the fight, we're going to have Mustafa Ali come in at number 25. And then we've got my personal favourite prediction for this Royal Rumble. Number 26 will be Aleister Black. I don't think Black is going to beat. I don't think he's going to beat Tommaso Ciampa. I think Black's time for the main roster is here. I think Black is definitely the. He's definitely the best. My favourite in NXT right now. He might not be the best wrestler, but the gimmick, the attitude, his mic ability, I think Aleister Black is without a doubt one of the best that could be promoted, and one of the few who could get an immediate title shot within a few months. You know, like the US title, if he goes to Raw, the Intercontinental title, Aleister Black could turn some serious heads, and the Royal Rumble is a good place to start, especially if so again, I'll say it again, especially if Sullivan isn't called up. But here's hoping that I'm wrong with my predictions and that Lars Sullivan does make an appearance. But when I calculated it, I just don't see it happening, particularly with these next two coming back from injury back to back. Number 27, Kevin Owens, and number 28, Sami Zayn. Coming in back to back, pretty much the way they left, pretty much they have been, unless they were fighting for some stupid reason because of Kevin. Sami and Kevin are coming back, and they've got to be at the Rumble. Kevin Owens especially has to be at the Rumble. Maybe not everyone likes KO, but now that he's gone, we realise how good KO is on the mic. You listen to Braun Strowman on the mic, it's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. So to have Kevin Owens come back, bring some explosiveness back on the mic that could actually match the Miz's, you know, on SmackDown, to have basically the Raw's Miz back in Kevin Owens would be great, and to have Sami Zayn back, always good, very talented, very fast pace, good wrestler with a brilliant finisher. Gotta love Sami Zayn as well. Number 29 is the man who people have argued will win the Rumble. It'd be cool if he won the Rumble because I'm from Scotland too, but I don't see it. I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre will come in at number 29, but I'm sorry, McIntyre is not going to win the Rumble. If you're one of the people that think Drew McIntyre is going to win the Rumble, then you really need to learn how management in the WWE works. Just because they hype someone up doesn't mean they're going to get the push that everyone thinks they're going to get. That only really happens with newbies. It's only newbies when they're promised a big push and they do it quickly if they get given said push. But McIntyre was given tag team titles. He was given the tag team titles after the NXT Championship, and those are two significant titles, and he is also a former Intercontinental Champion. So McIntyre's already got some credentials, but he's not at the level to win a Royal Rumble, and he's not got the crowd behind him like Shinsuke Nakamura did last year. it wouldn't work. It would be like Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. No one would be really into it. Maybe not as badly as they were against Reigns winning the Rumble that year, but no one wants to see McIntyre win it. Maybe see McIntyre challenge for the Universal title after WrestleMania? Sure. Maybe McIntyre winning Money in the Bank would be the best thing for his career next season. But his time isn't yet. So McIntyre will come in late and it will be huge. He will eliminate a few people. He'll probably ruin the homecoming party for Owens and Zayn. Yeah, McIntyre will stir the pot for sure. Then number 30, we know it's R-Truth, but I believe it won't be R-Truth. This actually ties in a little bit to a prediction from one of the comments made earlier in the video, which made me worry if someone was psychic, but I haven't picked CM Punk, so not quite the same. But at number 30, I have R-Truth forgets he's in the Rumble and leaves the stadium before he's even called out. I don't know how, but we've always said that about R-Truth. We don't know how he got there. We don't know how he came to that conclusion. So, yeah, him missing the Rumble, fans won't miss it, and it would actually make his gimmick even funnier. So it would be a win-win for Truth if he didn't actually show up. As I said, this has all been calculated. There are so many names I could put at number 30, CM Punk being one of them. But I really think CM Punk will go to AEW just because they are offering a nicer schedule and to treat him with the respect he claims he didn't get from WWE. I think Kenny Omega is going to want to be around his friends, so I think he will also go to AEW. But if number 30 is not Kenny Omega, it'll be Batista. The reason that Batista's return was called off was because Triple H picked up an injury, and they said he'll be out till Mania. And funnily enough, Triple H has gotten injured before, and he's come back from injury early, and he's done it again. Triple H has already been cleared for, oh my god, Maurice winning the Rumble. Oh, could you imagine? Anyway, yeah. Triple H has been cleared to compete, so I believe, foot on the gas, Batista could come back after all. This is definitely a deciding factor, that Triple H is fit means Batista could come back. Batista definitely not going to win the Rumble, but he will be back and the pop would be explosive. And it lines up many opportunities for him to say maybe eliminate McIntyre, maybe give McIntyre a big match with him on the road to WrestleMania, which leads to the match with Triple H. Who knows? Who knows? I get excited at the thought about it, but seriously, Batista entering is not as bad idea as it sounds at first. So, for the love of God, if Omega and CM Punk won't do it, Batista is without a doubt the third best choice, because The Rock just won't do it, and Cena's not going to be there. So yeah, Batista's going to come in number 30, probably eliminate McIntyre, and from everyone else that I've seen in the Rumble, I've entered in the Rumble, Seth Rollins will win the Rumble. And I don't want to sound like a broken record because everyone's predicting Seth Rollins. I actually predicted Seth Rollins ages ago when he actually first lost the Intercontinental title. I said, well, he's got no title now there's no excuse for him not to become the man of Raw. So yeah, pretty much called that one. Yeah, I understand the comments for sure. Furio plays. I definitely respect your opinions. I think they're brilliant. Tyler X would have been brilliant to see. AJ Styles entering the Rumble, Finn Balor entering the Rumble. But I think with Styles and Balor having title matches, I just don't think. Say if Balor and Styles didn't win the titles, I just don't see the WWE entering both of them having just lost a title opportunity. I mean, you see stuff like that occasionally. As I said, we might see it with Becky because she'll beat someone up and force her way into the Rumble. Maybe AJ will do that and not Becky, because AJ's had the whole aggressive side of him unlocked by McMahon. So AJ might do it. It's very possible AJ could be in it. But if he was, I still don't see him winning the Rumble. The only real winner I see in this match is Seth Rollins. So yeah, I will put the list down below. But we've gone through the predictions. I think Seth Rollins will win. I think Becky Lynch will win if she enters. If not, it will be Charlotte Flair. And I'm hoping there will be some title changes, but I can't help feeling most of them are going to be retentions. And it will just be the Royal Rumbles that excel. This match card, though, has serious potential. If you're going to put Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev on the pre-show, then it better be a fucking good show. You know, it better be. Well, thank you for tuning in. Yeah, this has been quite fun. I've finally been waiting to do a prediction video. I thank the guy who's been spamming me with comments. Not actually sarcastic. Actually thankful. Love the opinions. And you know what, man? You know what? I really wish Cody never left in the first place. I really wish Stardust was never invented. I wish Cody Rhodes had just not had his career fucked with at all. So yeah, for Cody Rhodes to come back, we know it's not going to happen, but by God, it would be so good if it did. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the comments. Enjoy NXT TakeOver tonight. I will put up a video before that comes up. It won't take as long as this one, I promise, because there's only a couple of fights. Spoiler alert, if you already listened to my Royal Rumbles, Shayna Baszler is going to lose her title to Bianca Belair tonight. That is my first prediction. I will see you at that video, and if you are not watching TakeOver, enjoy the Rumble. It should be good. Peace.